Welcome to the laundry room. So this is where we come and go from the house into the garage. Washer and dryer here, and then we have a space where we have typically kept two dining room chairs where we sit down and take our shoes on and off. And so we decided to build a mudroom bench with some storage space underneath where we could put some baskets to store all our extra shoes. And so I want to walk you through that process right now. So here is the space, and what we did was we built the bench first. We basically built a rectangular box out of MDF wood. We had some extra 1x6 pine strips, so we used that on one end to dress it up a little bit, and then we put three 1x6 strips across the top, and it will all be painted white, and then the bench top will be a gray to match the paint we used in our kitchen. And so after the bench, we put wainscot up on the walls and then trimmed it out with some various types of trims, 3/4 round mold around the floor, and then just a nice little trim around the wainscot. And up on the wall, we put a piece of 1x6 where we will mount 4 coat hooks to hang coats and purses and hats and things like that on. And so the next step where we are in the process is to caulk around the wood, and then we'll prime it, and then we'll paint it. And so let's take a look at doing some caulking. So come right down here. I'll show you the supplies if you've never caulked before. This is a standard tube of DAP, windows and doors, fast drying latex silicone caulk. If you buy your caulk like this, you will also need a caulk gun. You can buy the caulk in squeeze tubes, which is also a very easy way to start out caulking. And then this is a tool for spreading caulk. It has various scraping tools and smoothing tools on it, and I'll show you how to use that as well. The other, probably the most common way as you apply caulk is to just spread it, smooth it with your finger. And so we'll do a little bit of both. And then you'll also need some towels or a rag. And so let's start with the caulking tube. It's obviously sealed, and so you'll need a knife or a razor blade. You probably can't see this in the video because it's very hard to see, but most caulk tubes have some lines that will show you different angles that you can trim off the tip with. And so we're going to go just right about here. And so you get a nice clean edge, but you want to do about a 45-degree angle on the end of the tube. And then most tubes of caulk have a foil seal right here, so you'll need something long and thin to break that seal with, and most caulk guns have a little poking device. And so you just take it and slide it in the hole there, and you can see we got a little white on the end there. And so we've punctured the seal. And so now you take the tube of caulk, slide it in nozzle first, and then basically start squeezing the trigger, and it moves the plunger forward. Okay? And so you can see the plunger goes down in there. Now, as you start caulking and using the caulking gun, you'll start caulking and laying down a bead of caulk, and if you let go of the handle, it's going to keep coming out. So as soon as you're ready to stop somewhere, you need to make sure that you relieve the pressure by pushing this button, and it will kick this little plunger back a little bit and take the pressure off the tube and keep. A little bit of caulk will still come out. That's why it's good to have just a dry paper towel so that you can wipe the excess off of, lay your caulking gun down on it, and then a wet towel just for messes, getting it off your fingers and any areas, because it will end up in places you don't want it to be. So always good to have a couple of cleanup towels. All right, so we're going to start right here. Now this is a little different surface, right, than what you'd normally have, because you have these waves and edges in the wainscot, but let's give it a whirl here and see what happens. So start gently pulling the trigger, and it'll start to have some caulk come out. And so just move slowly, don't squeeze too hard. Make sure that your 45-degree angle is kind of right in the corner. See where it ran out there? I need to squeeze it again, get it going. All right, and then I'm going to stop right there. So I'm going to let off the pressure, pushing the little button. All right, okay. Now, if you're going to use your finger, it's maybe good to get it a little damp, and then just sort of slide along, pushing the caulk down into the gap. And there you go. A nice clean. You can also use it to putty holes if you want. And so you get a nice, good, clean caulk edge. You let that dry for a couple hours, and then you can paint it. Hello. Well, we have finished the mudroom bench, so let's take a look at it. So starting at the top, we've added, since you last saw, the coat hanger board with the coat racks, and we've also added a motion sensing, light sensing night light. This room has no windows, so it's always very dark. And then, just as we did with the coat rack, we did a contrasting gray on the bench, along with some darker contrasting baskets to put shoes and other things in the bottom. And then we went ahead and we carried the wainscot over onto this wall to just continue the flow. And it was also, it just worked out that we had just the perfect amount of excess wainscot, and so then all we had to do was buy some trim to top it off. And so I would rate this as probably a medium hardness project. If it's your first time, it'll be, to do a wood project, it'll be quite an effort. If you've done this sort of thing before, it's fairly straightforward, and it does a lot to dress up a very simple area. Thank you.